Coming up next on YCU News, lawmakers in Washington, D.C. vote to accept a plan to raise the debt ceiling. Cornish residents discuss the future of the now-closed General Store. And 5 cars parked in a Westminster, Vermont auto dealer lot are stripped of their tires and rims. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCU, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth-Lake Sunapee region and central Vermont. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that's happening in our area. The news on YCU, your local view.
Good evening. I'm Rose Spillman. Thank you for joining us for this Thursday edition of YCU News. The federal government is back in business after being shut down for 16 straight days. Political wrangling continued up until 8 p.m. Wednesday night. In the end, lawmakers in Washington, D.C. voted to accept a plan to raise the debt ceiling and monitor spending. By action of the vote, the U.S. will not default and be unable to pay its bills. Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act, was not defunded. All members of the Vermont and New Hampshire delegation voted to accept the plan presented last night. The vote is still a stopgap measure. That's because the country's budget will be funded through January 15, 2014. The debt ceiling, or the amount of money the nation can borrow to pay its bills, will be raised through February 7th. Terms of the deal negotiated between Republicans and Democrats call for furloughed federal workers to receive back pay. In the U.S. Senate, Patrick Leahy and Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Jeanne Shaheen and Kelly Ayotte were among the 81 senators who voted yes. These 81 voted contrast with the 18 U.S. senators who voted no. One senator did not vote. In the House of Representatives, Peter Welch of Vermont and Ann McLean Custer and Carol Shea Porter joined colleagues in voting for the plan. The Cornish General Store will have a second life. Talks are underway among residents about what the now closed store at Cornish Flats will become. The store closed on August 31st. Shirley and Bob Bladen owned and operated the General Store for 13 years. The Bladens, in their 70s, are retiring. The asking price for the property is $375,000. To date, there's been no offers to buy the property, but there's been plenty of interest in its future. That interest resulted in a meeting earlier this week. Cornish resident George Edson and nearly 60 other people met inside the store. Edson told the gathering that the night's turnout was a welcome sign. "I expected it," he told the group, "and you're all here. This is great," he said. One plan that is emerging is for the store to become a cooperative, Edson said. A share price could be $10,000 with a possible 2 to 3% return, Edson explained. Or a share in the possible co-op could cost less, perhaps several $1,000s. A lower share price would allow more people to become owners. Those details will get worked out as talks continue among all interested parties. Edson says he wants to help in the building's future, yet he doesn't want to be the Lone Ranger. Edson's work experience prepares him to lead this effort, though he's sold and owned several grocery stores. To contact Edson about the Cornish General Store, email jill.edson@comcast.net. 5 vehicles parked in a Westminster, Vermont auto dealer's lot were stripped of their tires and rims over the holiday weekend. The thefts at the Durand Motors on State Route 5 occurred after 7 p.m. on Friday, October 11th, and before 8 a.m. on Saturday, October 12th, state police believe. The vehicles parked in the south side of Durand's lot were jacked up, placed on milk crates, and all tires and wheel rims removed, report police. If anyone was driving by the dealership during that time, please contact Vermont State Police at the Rockingham Barracks. The phone number is 802-875-2112. Information can also be left online at www.vtips.info. Text tips can be sent to crimes at 274-637. Keyword is VTIPS. And now for a story a bit off the trail. Make that the haunted trail. On Saturday, beginning at 4 p.m. at the Quechee Village Store, trick-or-treating will take place. Treats will be handed out to costume participants until 5 p.m. at the store and other local businesses in Quechee, Vermont. The haunted train ride also is set for that hour. The train ride is open to the public. Admission is by donation. Kids and adults are welcome to walk the haunted trail, which begins behind the Visitor Center in Quechee. There will be guides to ensure a safe experience for all. Lisa Fisher of the Vermont State Parks Department has been instrumental in designing the trail. The trail opens to young walkers at 6 p.m. and ends at 7:30 p.m. That's when older kids and adults who love Halloween are invited to walk the trail, a trail that will be even scarier than the hour before. Working with Fisher this year to create a fun-filled night is Sandy Clavel of the Hartford Area Chamber of Commerce. About 500 guests are expected at Saturday night's festivities, says Fisher. Now we have the YCU weather forecast for the Connecticut River Valley and Lake Sunapee region. Tomorrow we have a high of 63 degrees with lows in the 40s. Saturday we'll have temperatures in the mid-60s and lows around 42 degrees. Sunday will cool down to a high of 56 with lows in the 30s. Monday and Tuesday we'll have temperatures in the mid to low 50s. If you're in the New London area tomorrow, check out the Great Pumpkin Race on Gould Road. Registration will begin at 5:30 and the race starts at 6 p.m. Here's a look at some of our local high school sports scores. I'm Rose Spillman for YCU, your local view. Good night.